This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by... Alright folks, as you know, over the last maybe 5 months I've been doing a series called Moving to New Hampshire Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to probably about 30, interviewing a lot of different people about their moves to New Hampshire. Well, I got a request from a viewer that I should interview myself. Interview yourself? That's right. Well, in that case, how did you learn about the Free State Project? I think it was this thing called the Free Market News Network. I saw it mentioned there, but that wasn't the first time I had heard about it. I actually saw something on the Hannity and Combs show where they interviewed Walter Williams, and he mentioned Free State Project, and they put up this URL that said freestateproject.org. freestateproject.org. Well, anyway, so it said freestateproject.org, and I just sort of thought, yeah, that Walter Williams, he's kind of crazy, whatever. But he has some good ideas. And anyway, later on, I was just trolling around on the internet a month or two later, and I spotted that. I spotted this link to Free State Project. So then I went ahead and clicked on the link. And was immediately addicted. I mean, I went to the Free State website, and I spent the next 2 or 3 days just absorbing all the different information that was floating around there. I wasn't even really that much of a libertarian at the time. I was more of a conservative. But the ideas, a lot of them were very appealing to me, and so I got more and more involved. That was like September of 2002 when I first discovered it, and by November of 2002 I was a member. What was the trigger that made you move? Mainly it was just the selection of a state. Once New Hampshire was selected, you know, I just thought I was just as soon as I could, I moved. And once I was able to get a clear shot at making a move, I did. That was in August of 2004. How easy was it for you to find housing, Mr. Ridley? Actually, that was part of the trigger. That was something that was really easy. Basically, I just got an offer from one of the Free Staters, and I was just kind of poking around trying to see how easy it would be to just pop in without having to go through all the rigmarole of getting a regular apartment and stuff like that. One of the Free Staters who already lived here just said, "Oh, I've got an extra room, you can move in with me, and I'll charge you this relatively small amount of money." That, of course, ended up being a pretty common theme, you know, with Free Staters. A lot of different Free Staters moving to a lot of different sort of Free Stater-run apartments, basically. How hard was it for you to find a job? It was really easy. I had actually made contact with one company before moving up here, and I just, you know, I didn't do the interview until after I had moved. But you know, a month after I got here, I went and interviewed with this one TV station, a company in Boston, and they hired me right away. So one interview, one job. What's improved in your life since you moved here? Well, I think for me, like almost all Free Staters, my social life improved more than anything else. When you're around people who share a common interest with you, just the interest in liberty, then you just find that you want to be around them, and they want to be around others, and pretty soon you've got a whole party going. It's also improved my life, I think, just to have a cause, you know, to fight for that I know I can be a part of and be very effective in. I think almost anyone who wants to can be effective in this freedom struggle that we're in. You don't have to have that much in the way of special talents. And there's so many different things going on that you can just kind of skip from thing to thing, do what you feel like. You don't have to do stuff that's not interesting to you. If you don't like making political phone calls, you don't have to do that. If you don't like going door-to-door petitioning or something like that, you don't have to do that. If you don't like politics, you don't even have to do that. You don't have to get involved in politics because there's so much going on outside the political system. The other thing that improved for me, strangely enough, was that my cost of living went down. When I moved from Texas to New Hampshire, it went way down. And I think that's because of the efficiencies that are created by dealing with people you know, economically, having economic transactions with people you know, as opposed to just companies that are out there. There's a lot of good deals. For instance, if you go to forum.nhfree.com, they have a thing called the Porcupine Trading Post, and you can find items at a lower price than you would pay if you bought them from Walmart or something. And you don't have to worry about shipping like you would if you ordered from eBay. That also applies with rental situations. People who rent in the Free State from other Free Staters tend to pay not a very high rent. What is worse? What has gotten worse in your life since you moved to New Hampshire? Well, obviously the winters are worse, but the winters in New Hampshire are actually better than the summers in Texas. So in a net aggregate sense, I can't say that the climate situation got any worse. I like the climate in New Hampshire much better than Texas. What was the hardest part of moving to New Hampshire? For me, actually, the hardest part was setting up a date in advance, like planning it 2 months in advance or whatnot. It was difficult to do that because I didn't know what might happen over the next 2 months. Maybe the perfect thing might happen to me in Texas that would make me not so sure I wanted to move to New Hampshire right away. But I just had to go with it, and I just wish you didn't have to plan something like that so far in advance. What type of activism are you most drawn to? New Hampshire's State House, among the least bad governing institutions on earth. But even here, legislators plot theft and destruction. However, they don't do it without opposition. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance stands in their path and stands ready to train you in the ways of the Citizen Freedom Lobby. Visit nhliberty.org to get involved.